Have you checked the children? Your little mad sometimes.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Sometimes that is better.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird.
Robert Duell.
And we are back with another patron-requested review to continue our quarantine review series of The Howling with The Howling V. Subtitle what, Robert?
Rebirth.
There you go. Thank you. I knew I could count on you. So, yeah, this is one that was actually once again requested by Seth T. Miller. If I'm not mistaken, he requested 2 months in a row, 5 and then 6, and then 1 after that. So he requested 3 different Howling movies, and I couldn't do 5 and 6 and 1 without going ahead and doing the whole series, I figured. So that's why we're doing this review series. So really, you guys all have Seth T. Miller to thank for it, and we do thank him very much. If you guys want to become a patron, there is a link to the description in the description box down below where you can request movies for us to review and do commentaries for, all that good stuff. But let's get into this one, because Robert, if I'm not mistaken, this is one of the ones that you actually like as well. So I'm going to let you, or at least maybe more than the others, so I'm going to let you give your overall thoughts first, since I keep eating up all the words.
Very good. No, I really dig this movie because they definitely tried to go for more of a backstory on the werewolf lore. And you get that in the opening scene, and hence the title Rebirth. Basically, no, I like this movie. This is definitely one of the top ones in the series, personally. It's a shame that there are some things that we don't get to see that I wish we got to see more of in this movie. But other than that, like, I've watched this movie at least 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
Just on my own.
Yeah, I will say that this one, especially after the ones that we've just, sludged through, this was a breath of fresh air, because while it's not as good as the first one, it's not as original a story. It is a story we've seen before. It's basically like an Agatha Christie novel. It's like a murder mystery thriller where a bunch of guests are invited to this huge mansion, and none of them really know why, and that's the mystery that sort of unfolds throughout the movie. And it turns out that one of the guests is actually from a long bloodline of werewolves that's trying to ensure that there's no competition by taking out a lot of other people. And there's more to it than that, but I don't want to really spoil it, because it actually is a pretty interesting movie. It's a well enough done mystery, and I enjoyed seeing a lot of similar tropes from mysteries like this play out, but with a werewolf instead. So there's secret passages and things like that, but you don't want to get caught in one necessarily against the werewolf running around. So I actually quite enjoyed this movie as well. I mean, the story was a lot more interesting than all of the stories except for the first movie. So I was on board for it. What about the story for you? Were you a fan of it?
Oh, I definitely agree, and especially that mystery aspect and whatnot. It's like they're trying to find out who's the werewolf and everything, who's the last remaining part of this bloodline that was supposed to have been killed, that we see in the opening credits, in the opening sequence. Yep. And I thought, I thought that was cool, because they were trying to bring more of a backstory to the actual movies, the movie series. But yeah, there's like I said, I like this movie. The acting was great, things like that. The mystery part of it was really nice. It basically, if you haven't seen the movie, definitely watch this movie.
Yeah, it's really worth it as far as the the Howling movies, for sure. Each of the characters are enjoyable in their own right, because they're all really characters. Each one is written to be a very specific way, and it all comes off, and they play off of each other, and you don't know exactly who's what or how or why or into who and stuff like that, but all of that stuff plays out, and it's just an engaging story. And when you add a hidden unknown werewolf in the mix, that's a really cool way to approach werewolf movies. What I'm finding as we're watching a lot of werewolf movies recently, because we not long ago did Dog Soldiers, and then we also are going to be recording our review of A Bad Moon today. Werewolf movies can take on a lot of different forms, and I find myself to be more interested in the more unique stories. Really good stories can yield really good werewolf movies. And if you add good effects as well, then, you know, more's the better. So I think that you're right. This is one that had really strong acting because of all the different characters that each had their own sort of thing to do and their own pool to play in, you know what I mean? So I think it all works harmoniously.
Yeah, and like going like with the characters, like they did try to give each character a somewhat of a backstory to why they were there and everything like that, and it gave them a nice little little attitude for each one, because they were semi-generic and everything like that, but at the same time they were new enough for the story.
Yeah, that's true. Now, there isn't a tremendous amount of wolf in this. I mean, you can see it quite a few times, but it's always in quick flashes, and we never get a full transformation, because frankly they don't reveal who it is until the very end of the movie. So we never get a full transformation scene. It's just flashes of the wolf when people are getting killed. But I think that's a testimony to the strength of the rest of the movie, when we can still say it's a good movie and all we really got were like brief flashes of the wolf and never even a full transformation. It's still better than the last 3 installments of this series, which all had way more wolf than this. So
No, I definitely agree, because also too, with being more of a silhouette feature of the wolf, you get to leave more up to your imagination of what you would imagine that wolf would look like, and I guarantee it's going to be 10 times better than what it would actually look like.
In this case, yes, but normally I don't subscribe to that.
True.
Whole...
No, I agree. I want to see my monsters, especially my werewolves.
Yeah.
I want to see them.
Well, especially now that we've seen so many people do it so well, so many times. Yeah. I mean, we know it can be done, but we also know that way more it can be done poorly. So, you know, I'd rather them, you know, take the time and do it right. But at least this one, if they didn't have the budget for wolves, they made the story engaging enough where it didn't matter. So that's your backup plan for a werewolf movie, you know? And so I do think that this one was successful, for sure. So, I don't know. Any final thoughts on this one from you, Robert?
Just definitely, I wanted, like, the set and everything, like, the castle setting. Beautiful.
Yeah, the production design on this one. It was similar to the castle in the second one, but it has the whole... it's actually something I'm talking about in another video that I'm making. I'm making a video about the top 6 horror games that need film adaptations. And one of them is a lot of the reason is because of the cool mansion and the secret passages that you can have and things like that. And so the production design of the castle, where you had to come up with all of that stuff and ways for the werewolf to sneak in and hide without breaking the rules of the movie, I thought was great. And it was just a really fun place to look at, you know?
Yep. And then real quick, so also, like, this is like that movie that I was talking about, was one of the characters is actually comes back in 7.
Oh, okay. Which one?
Yeah, so the Australian guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the one who comes back for 7.
Okay. Wait, so was he one of the 2 survivors at the end then?
Yeah, because technically all you saw was him lying face down in the snow.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
So, after the wolf breaks out of wherever it came, like, I'm gonna say that look like basically busted out of the side of a rock wall.
Well, there's 2 people that survive, right? That on camera survive. The bimbo and one dude, right? One dude survives also.
Yeah. But technically, because, you know, we didn't, like, with all the other ones, we kind of saw the aftermath of death.
Right.
We never saw his death.
Yeah, it's the same with the reporter in Halloween 2018, the male one. We never saw the aftermath, so he's coming back and kills. But it's true. But yeah, so this was a good one. The acting was fun, the effects were fun, the story was fun. You know, I recommend this one. Yeah. So thank you, Seth, for for requesting this one via our Patreon. If you guys are interested, you can become members of our Patreon in the link down below. Even if you don't want to use one of the tiers where you can select movies for us to review, the lower tiers, you can join for as low as $1 and watch all the reviews that we've put up there, which now numbers over 75 reviews that are just available on our Patreon. So go check that out, and thank you again to Seth T. Miller for requesting this. Until next time, I've been Cecil Laird.
Robert Duell.
And we'll be back to review part 6 probably tomorrow. And remember, guys, stay scared.
Stay scared.